Good morning and welcome back to World Talks, coming to you live from Warsaw. I'm Salia Strzemska. Just a few days ago, Polish President Karol Nawrocki marked 1 year in office. A recent anniversary poll found that 56% of Poles viewed his first year positively, while around 40% had a negative opinion. It was certainly an eventful year. Nawrocki has issued 41 vetoes, pursued his own diplomatic agenda, and began work on a new constitution. To discuss his first year in office and what comes next, I'm joined by Magdalena Baran, managing editor of Liberté. Hello and welcome, delighted to have you with us.
Oh, good morning, it's great to be here again.
So let's start with the vetoes, all 41 of them. Has the president used them as intended as a constitutional safeguard, or did they become a tool in a political fight against the government of Donald Tusk?
I believe it's a tool in a political struggle between Donald Tusk and his cabinet and the president, because when you look at all those videos, and we even started with the publicist, started to call the president a vetomat, because of so many vetoes. In fact, none of the presidents before vetoed so many parliament acts, and in fact, partly it paralyzed the system in some aspects. Let's look just one of the very last, so the veto against that extraordinary law putting more taxes on the gasoline campaigns, then in fact would decrease the prices on our gasoline stations. It's, let's say, against the function of the government, partly, one may say, also against the citizens. Look at Donald Tusk mentioned 5 vetoes that were the most, 4 vetoes and 1 act of the president, his act of mercy, that paralyzed, or maybe was the top 5 worst for the country. It was the veto for SAFE, so for the mechanism, European mechanism and European money for Polish defense. And here we could develop it. Another veto was with a veto for the Parliament Act of the status of the closest person. And we should remember, it wasn't about same-sex marriages. It was one of those, and still is one of those acts that most of the polls, 68%, if I'm right in the polls, that most of the polls are rather for, and it's not only about being liberal, conservative, so on and so on, but it's about the functioning of everyday life of our citizens, and let's say not only liberals or leftists are in informal relationships. Another, of course, the veto for crypto. So for regulation of the crypto market in Poland, in fact, it was more than 1 veto against this act. And right now, we have to use the European law because we haven't have our own right now. And the act of mercy, a bit controversial for Staruchs, for one of the, let's say, football. One would say fan, other would say hooligan, but for president's former pack, let's say.
Still, close to 60% of Poles view his first year in office in positive terms. What makes him so popular? What makes him so appealing?
Well, he said that he wanted to be the voice of nation. Definitely not my voice. And please remember that there were around 10 million people voting for him, a bit less for Rafał Trzaskowski last year, but still more than 10 million people who haven't voted. So he should remember being also a voice of those people, those 10 million who decided, okay, those are not my guys. But I believe that he's more visible than Andrzej Duda. Some of those vetoes might be popular, especially for the that one for the criminal law, for example. That was quite influential for some part of society. He's more visible, and he's also visible in this international relation, especially when it comes to the relation with the US. Even during this rally or a mass meeting that was organized at the front of the President's Palace for the anniversary, he said that how some split. Donald Tusk is taking care about the relation with the European Union, and I do care about the relation with the US. And I believe that even if, whatever we think about Donald Trump, and he's being sometimes a roller coaster when it comes to the decisions, this relation is more visible than a relation with Andrzej Duda, even if many polls would consider Karol Nawrocki being at Donald Trump birthday a bit controversial. But he was there and he was invited, and he hadn't had to wait at the front of the elevator if maybe, as Andrzej Duda did, waiting that maybe Donald Trump will spend a minute with him. Here and since many polls still believe that US, and it's partly true, US is a guarantee for our safety, it might be a part of this trust, a part of things that this trust is built on.
We're going to get to that in a moment, but I wanted to stick to domestic politics for a little while longer. We've recently seen a split within Law and Justice. So the question is, does Nawrocki have a chance to unite the right, in a sense, to become the natural leader?
I believe that his circles are looking for this opportunity, or looking at this opportunity with a kind of hope, because Nawrocki could present himself as a strong leader, maybe not uniting the right, but showing that the right has a very similar ideas. Because right now, when you look right, we would have three parties plus possible party. What was the suggested name? The Great Poland, I think, from few days. So the new Morawiecki's party that he promised to introduce at the 15th of October. So the very symbolic date also. And here, I think that Nawrocki and his circles, because we must remember that there are really influential and also talented politicians working for him. Even if I don't share the views, I would always say they are really talented. They're able to build a strong right, but, and here comes a lot of buts. Because each of each leader of right-wing parties right now, they have their own let's say, not only views, but ambitious. And it will be a bit difficult to unite Grzegorz Braun, Sławomir Mencen, Jarosław Kaczyński, Krzysztof Bosak and Morawiecki, plus his team, let's say, or his circles. And we must remember that his circles, the people that stood behind him, are pretty influential, also because of the money they have.
So, Magdalena, let's go back to Trump and Nawrocki's relationship with him, because we need to cover that. Could he use this relationship to leverage Poland's agenda on issues such as Patriots, or perhaps US troops being stationed in Poland permanently? I actually have a quote from Nawrocki, who said that we need to get serious about building for Trump and securing a permanent US military presence in Poland. Everything is essentially agreed and ready. Now it's time to get down to the hard work. So where do we stand on that?
He even said that we need to build we already have a highway for a permanent presence of the U.S. troops in Poland. well, and here comes the story that everything might be settled on the government side, because when it comes to the our policy with US, we play on two pianos. Because we, from one side, we have President Nawrocki and his relations. On the other side, we have the Vice Prime Minister, so Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz, but also on influence, but also, of course, Radek Sikorski and other politicians that also are in touch with many many American politicians. Ministry Sobkowiak-Czarnecka just came back from US, and she heard from Pete Hegseth, but also from other people from Pentagon, that both sides started to work on that, let's call it fourth Trump for now. And there is a special commission in Pentagon, also planning. Of course, we Polish government already started to work on the Parliament Act that could help to establish the base, but also provide the funding, because the funding might be between 12 to 15 billion złotych, so quite a lot. We discussed the location, so on, so on, so on. But we need to have in mind the final decision is Trump's decision. And we're still waiting for that promised 5,000 American troops that should be here in Poland. We're still waiting for the American troops going back to Poland when it comes to the rotation, because he promised the rotation will be back, but we're still waiting. Some would tell you that maybe the 15th of August, so the holiday of the Polish army
in July
might
said
be,
that it's going to take about 8 weeks. So he said that in July. So
in July, so maybe we could expect that at the end of August, beginning of September. But it's still the great maybe. And when it comes to the Patriots that you mentioned, two important things happened. First thing happened in Ankara, so during the NATO summit, because the representatives of Poland, US, the Netherlands, Germany and Sweden signed a declaration of building a service base for PAC-free missiles, so the missiles to the Patriot systems, together. And right now Poland is taking some care for this service center to be built in Poland. Also, the second thing, also mentioned by Minister Sobkowiak-Czarnecka, is that Poland is ready to be in kind of a triangle with the US and Ukraine when it comes to the production of Patriots. Of course, US first in Ankara, we all remember that Donald Trump promised the technology to the Ukraine, but just a few weeks later he said, no, we are not so sure, because what if they will change the side and it's not safe, so on, so we are not going to give them the technology. But there is a possibility of creating a kind of a hub here in Poland in trilateral relations for Patriots, for the production. And from what we heard, of course, from the ministry, but also from American side, that it might be possible because Poland could guarantee more safety for the location, for the employees, but also for the technology itself.
Unfortunately, we have to stop here. Magdalena, Baran, thank you so very much for joining us this morning. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching World Talks. Please stay tuned for more here on TVP World.